that sticks out from your past that didn't believe in you?
Well, I don't think I was really helping myself, to be honest. I was a pain in the arse when I was at school. The system at the time wasn't set up to spot a director in the school system in the 80s, because it was all about English, sports, science. There was no photography, there was no drama, O-levels, things like that. But I also think I was probably a right royal pain in the arse.
Yeah.
And I focused more on the people that did believe in me and made a difference.
If there's someone who kind of like does stick out in your mind, who really believed in you or gave you a chance when no one else would,
Yeah,
who would that person be?
that's Graham Ford. Graham was like the head of technical and equipment hire at a place called Intermedia in Nottingham in the 90s. It was like a local community centre that got a video facility that ran courses, but it ran courses for people in groups that wouldn't normally get a chance to work in film. So like single parents, people from different ethnic backgrounds that weren't represented, way ahead of its time, really. I got thrown out of college, say on the Friday night, the last day of college, because I was in debt. It wasn't a work thing. My work was incredible, Shimmy. A+, buddy. But I'd got into quite a bit of debt. And when I was on my way home, I saw this film crew outside this film centre. And I saw this guy and got talking to him, as they were making this thing. And I'm a bit like you, I'm always looking for, to come out of roses smelling, or come out of crap smelling of roses. And I got a whiff that there was this course there. And I was thinking, now I'm at a loose end. What are you drinking?
Oh, coffee.
Oh, it looked like Guinness or something. I thought,
No, I was just made myself an Americano.
Oh, nice. Very good. You got all the mod cons.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, although he couldn't take me in and he couldn't get me on a course, that he would actually let me work there as a volunteer for a couple of weeks, because they'd had this grant and putting a lighting rig up in a studio. So I went in and worked for 2 weeks. And because it wasn't long after I'd been doing this concreting that I was talking to you about, I was, very, very strong. And I was able to elevate these beams of steel, Shimmy, like they weren't even around. So I worked there for 2 weeks, and at the end of it, he said, because you've worked really hard and you've obviously proved yourself, he said, in a way, I wish you could be on the course, because you've obviously got a knack for this kind of, filmmaking stuff. And I'd helped a few students out with things, and he lent me a camera one weekend and said, go home, shoot something. I said, well, there's no one. All the people I was at college with have gone home, like they've got parents with houses in Dubai, and I'm just stuck in the house on my own. He said, well, just shoot something yourself. So I made this little film myself, took it back on the Monday. He taught me how to edit, and he left me at it for a few hours. And then he watched this little mental thing that I'd made, and he didn't know whether, I don't mean it was brilliant, it was mental, but there was something in it that he thought was good. And he kind of took me under his wing at that point and created a position that didn't exist as a volunteer at this place. So I kind of worked there for nothing, but he, once a month, if I worked there, he said that he'd lend me a camera. And he said, if you make a film every month for a year, and you keep working here for a year, I guarantee by the end of that year, you'll have something you can enter into a competition. And the film I made at the end of that year was Where's the Money, Ronnie? I entered it to a competition and it won. And so without him and that, he absolutely, it was like, I was, imagine you, I was just like you. So it wasn't that easy. He took me in, and then I was kind of ringing him at 2 a.m. going, can I just borrow this? And can I just borrow that? I was a massive pain in the arse. But I had so much energy, and and he literally, he would treat me like one of his family, to be honest. And he went out of his way. He wasn't getting paid a penny for helping me. And yeah.
The funny thing is that Graham Ford is actually getting those phone calls off me last night.
Really?
Yeah, because he's helped me. He's shown me how to use some new edit software. And obviously, I know him through you. And I was calling him. In fact, no, it was yesterday morning. I sent him a text message. I said, "Oh, can you give me a call when you wake up?" Anyway, wiping the sleep out of his eyes at his computer, and I was like, "Oh, you just got up?" He said, "Yeah, I would have liked a bit more sleep." I was like, "Oh, how come it wasn't me who woke you up, was it?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was Shim."
Oh my God. Yeah, because I stopped doing that to him when I was about 22, and not when I was 37. Are you 37 yet?
Yeah. 37 this year.
Yeah, baby, August. Let's do this.
I won't
Great.
take too much more of your time because I know you need
I
your
just gave you
brekkie.
loads on that last one. I thought that was the final one, so I put everything into it. I've gone a bit sleepy.
What do you miss most since Corona?
I'm still getting to go out and exercise and stuff like that, but I think it's people. You know, you just kind of you just miss. You don't realise the basic interaction of people. You know, I used to go to a cafe, get a bit of breakfast in the morning. You got friendships all over the place that you didn't realise were friendships. And so yeah, I just miss human contact. I think in that regard, just gentle touching and cuddling and that basic stuff. But yeah, no, I don't miss anything mental like, you know, holidays or big crazy stuff. Being a geezer, I do miss sport. You know, I miss missing the football. I've noticed if you go out for a walk and you're doing a bit of exercise, every single person that you pass from about 14 meters away, they all speak to each other and they nod. And when we go out on a Thursday night with the kids and we clap, you know, for all the frontline nurses and doctors and people that are keeping the country going, that sense of community and hearing other streets and people cheering and horns going and all that's been really beautiful. So you know, the things that you kind of miss are sort of there in a little way, but you just, you know, you're not getting them in the same quantities.
I was clapping and beeping my horn and stuff, but to be honest, the only people that could hear me were sheep up in the Lake District. I was there by myself.
But it's knowing that other people are doing it, it does connect you, doesn't it? It's this weird thing that you know that the whole country. It's like when you put something on telly for the first time that you've made, and you realise a number of hundreds of thousands of people are all sat doing something at the same time. There is a special something that goes with it. And going out into the street, you can only hear the people, or obviously the sheep could hear you, but somehow you're part of something bigger, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. First thing you do after quarantine is lifted.
Go out with the actual Woody and the actual Gadget and all the old crew. So, and maybe invite the Woody off the. Maybe we do that. Yeah, we get the cast of This Is England to meet some of the original Utoxeter people that have got similar names.
Yeah.
But I want to go out with my dad because my mum. It was the anniversary of my mum's death, and I couldn't. I couldn't hug my dad, and you know, and so I went and, you know, sort of saw my dad from a distance. But you know, when my mum's anniversary, my mum's death went through, that, you know, obviously I got to see him, so I was lucky in some ways. But not being able to put your arm around your dad was tough. So yeah, we've just said the old Talbot in Toxteth, and the minute we're all allowed out and it's safe to go out again, we're going to have a bit of a knees up, of which you will obviously be invited, Shimmy.
Wicked. Anyone in your life that you've never had the chance to thank?
There was a teacher called Mr. Corden and a teacher called Mr. Laws, who both, when I was at middle school, and I'd been through a bit of a tricky time, and you know, and basically I was going off the rails a bit at school. And Mr. Corden was the RE teacher, so the religious education teacher, which you wouldn't particularly put me together with. But he really sort of took me under his wing a bit and looked after me and could see I was struggling. And he gave me a merit award at the end of the year when I was just about to leave school. And I was sat in this award ceremony ribbing because I was jealous. All these kids were going up for merit awards. And I was sat with my mate Dogsy just going, oh, what a bunch of spoiled little shitbags, you know, and taking the mickey out of everyone because I was deeply jealous that they were all being presented. And then the award came up for religious education and my name came out and I went, come on. It was like the BAFTA night. And I said to him afterwards, did you do it like out of pity? And he said, no, because when we started, he put some films on in the lessons. And apparently it was the only time I'd ever been quiet because I watched these films without talking. And then when he was engaging in conversations afterwards, obviously there was something about me and films that I was able to, and he saw something in me. And then Mr. Laws was the drama teacher, and he was another one that really, I mean, one day I was going, you know, like I said, I was having this slightly rough time around that age, and he come in once, and I'd been sniffing glue, and he found me. I went into school and I was off my head, you know, and I wasn't right, and he took me to one side, and rather than just sending me to the headmaster and getting me into loads of trouble, he spoke to me about what was going on, you know. So I would say those two were definitely the people that stood out.
Piece of advice you'd like to give to people in life?
I've come across a number of people in the last few years, I suppose Helen Behan's a good example that, she was in her early 30s, got 3 kids, and she did her first job with us on This Is England, and is now, obviously she's back nursing at the moment because they need her, but she's had a change. So, follow your dreams, whatever age you're at. But I would also say, if you followed someone else's, it's never too late to change.
With Corona, COVID-19, anything you just like to positive note?
Never been much of a rule follower, if I'm honest. But this absolutely, knowing that extra journeys, things that you make, you could potentially affect someone else's life. I think just do the absolute best that you can. Obviously, a lot of people, for sake of mental health and just general health, need to go out and do a bit of exercise while we still can. So do what you can. But I mean, everyone's saying the same thing really, but I back it 1,000,000%. The main thing from my point of view is I'm just following this to the best of my abilities and trying to believe in the people above rather than just question everything, which I think is probably sage advice at the minute.
Wicked, brother.
Good to see you, dude.
It's good to see you too.
Maybe cut the glue sniffing bit out. And tell them I did that bit.
A long time ago. They've already given you all the awards. You're already a household name.
Yeah, I was poorly.
Yeah.
Hey, love you, mate.
Thank you so much for this. Honestly, sorry for turning up unannounced. I know it was a bit of a surprise because you thought I was 2,000 miles away in Spain.
Yes,
but
yes.
I am here, somewhere in England.
If I'd known it was just going to be this, I wouldn't have minded. I was really scared you wanted to try and have a bed for the night, and I was going to have to get I don't know, have you carried away by the police?
I went to see Tomo yesterday and did this with him. He actually said to me, he said last night, he said, if you check my search history, he said it's not porn. He said I was actually searching how long, squatters. He said, the laws have been changed recently. They only get 48 hours.
That's fantastic.
It's all right, I'll be gone after breakfast.
Flipping heck. Yes, I'd love to know when you leave in front of my area. That'd be great. What's it going to cost me to get you out of my street today?
Well, you've already said that This Is England is probably going to happen again. So
there we go.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Brother, thank you so much. I'll raise my coffee to you. I know you have.
There we go. I'll just raise my fat thumb. There we go.
Oh, talking of thumb, Shane, please, last thing.
No.
Please.
No.
Can I see your foot?
No way.
I love your feet so much.
Yeah, that's really special inner circle stuff. That is, Shimmy.
Honestly, those feet need to be preserved.
Yeah, don't knock on that door too hard.
Right, I'll see you
all right,
later.
mate. Take it easy, brother. Yeah, loads of love, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Bye, mate.